Hello and welcome to the Seahawkers podcast. I'm your host, Brandon Schultz. It is Tuesday evening. We are live out on YouTube. Adam, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great, man. It's a beautiful summer day here in Montana, and we've got to see a little football from the Seahawks already. And just like that, we get to see more here. Week 2 preseason. I'm fired up for it, man.
Week 2 preseason coming up. It has me fired up because we got a little bit of a taste, Adam, with this last game. Coach Mike said, you're not going to see any starters out there. But then we saw what we could maybe describe as a partial starting offensive line, at least. And that was kind of fun. But it's got me more juiced for seeing even more starters out there against the Kansas City Chiefs.
For sure. And traditionally speaking, week 2 is the time that teams put out their starters and play them a little bit more. So we'll see if that happens to be the case here for Mike McDonald. I'm going to guess it is. And if that's the case, then yeah, I think we're going to see a lot more guys out there for, at the very least, a series or two in both defensively and offensively. And there's a whole host of dudes that I can't wait to see. And I'm curious kind of which are the ones that stand out to you first and foremost.
There are a few, and since we are live, I want to know, what folks in chat are thinking too, as far as who they want to see as they come on in and maybe hit the like button. And if you're new here, hit the subscribe button because, that's what we do out here on YouTube. If you're new to YouTube, one of the things that we really like you to do is when you watch a video, you hit a little thumbs up button. Sometimes it's real tough. If you're doing it on mobile, you have to close out of the chat to get to the like button. It's really complicated, but I count on our super smart audience to be able to do it.
I think they'll do it. And really what it all boils down to, it's just for our egos, and we're very shallow people. So if you can help us out by hitting like and subscribe and boost my ego, that'd be great.
You like us, we'll like you. Let us know where to hit the like button on your stuff. That's
there we go.
We're reciprocal that way.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Happy podiversary, man.
Yeah. Is it today?
It's somewhere in here.
Okay, cool. Because I didn't buy anything and I forgot. So, but we did it another year, and we have a year this year that is so shaken up offensively that I think it leaves a lot of questions that maybe can be answered here in week 2 preseason as we head into what is this year for us? Is this season 13?
This is season 13. Yes.
Okay.
Our podiversary is our 12th. We've been doing this for 12 years together, man.
Heck yeah, man. So I think that this one's destined to be a banger for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's get into it. Let's talk about the starters we're most excited to watch versus the Chiefs on Friday. And one of the cool things about having the Chiefs set up for this week 2 matchup, Adam, the Chiefs have been in the Super Bowl like 5 out of the last 6 years.
Yeah.
And
it's annoying.
It is annoying.
Mm-hmm.
But I think also it creates an opportunity. One, you don't have to lose to the Chiefs in the regular season. And you can actually beat them in the preseason, which will be fun. And you get to maybe get a good idea of some certain matchups that against a team that is very consistently one of the top teams in the NFL.
For sure. And it's a step up in competition than what we saw last week with the Raiders. There's no doubt about that. Not that the Raiders aren't, in my opinion, on the ascent with bringing in Pete and Gino and doing everything they're doing there. I think they're on one of their best trajectories they've had in a good long time.
Did you say Gino or did you say Jamarcus Russell Light?
I said Gino because I can tell the difference between complete, total washout, cough syrup drinking busts and a guy who just didn't pay up on a bet and got his job broke and then had to sit on the bench for 8 years. I can tell the difference between those two quarterbacks.
We can get more into it later, but because I do want to touch on that. But I just wanted to get some clarity up front, which Geno Smith we're talking about.
Yep, that's the one that played here the last couple of years. And it's going to be fun, just as you mentioned, to see what this team looks like against a more competent, well-rounded team that has more depth that the Kansas City Chiefs have. Look, man, I think for me it all starts offensively, and it's the lowest hanging fruit. It's the most obvious thing in the world. I got to see Sam. I got to see him play. I mean, I'm hearing all about Mike Mack saying, oh, he's a pain in the butt to play. He's getting the ball out on time and in rhythm and all that. That's great. You got to do it in practice first. So let's see if he can do it here in the preseason. And I think that's got to be almost where a lot of the ultimate success of this team ends up starting and stopping, is with Sam Darnold and his level of play.
Jason Turner in the chat saying Darnold is my most excited to see. Darnold's got to be up there for me because because we haven't seen him in this Kubiak offense. We got to see a little bit of Drew Lock, and we got to see a little bit of Jalen Milroe. But I am curious about your take on Darnold. Is there anything that you can see, though, in preseason week 2 that gives you more confidence going into the season?
I mean, it literally is getting the ball out on time and quick, because one of Sam's biggest problems is holding the ball a little bit too long and taking unnecessary sacks. And so seeing that, and then just kind of his overall command of the offense, and just to see how comfortable he looks, or if he looks like he's sitting there patting the ball and not really knowing where to go, it all kind of links up to him getting the ball out quick and decisively.
I can virtually guarantee we will see him under center more than the aforementioned Geno Smith that we saw last week against the Raiders.
Without question, and it's just a delight to see. I think that was one of the reasons why after week 1 I was so fired up, is just looking at the way that Clint Kubiak is going to run this offense and the scheme, and how it looks like real NFL football instead of rinky-dink college nonsense. And it was awesome. So I can't wait to see Sam there, see a little play action. But speaking of play action, Brandon, I'm guessing that one of the dudes on your list is the guy that's going to be getting the ball fake too, or taking the ball from Sam Darnold in the gut and running around.
I'm excited to see K9. That would be one that's up there for me. Bleed Blue and Green is in the chat saying O-line pancakes.
Yeah.
I also saw K9 in there as well. So K9 for me. And the one nice thing that we heard coming out of practice on Tuesday was that he was out there in pads and practicing. I know everybody's like on K9 pins and needles watch.
Yeah.
But it sounds like Coach Mike has a plan of how they're going to, because he's one of the guys that you want to make sure that once you get to the regular season that he's ready to go. And I don't know if any of these little injuries are like real injuries, or if they're like, oh, well, we're just protecting K9 type injuries. Because at this point in his career, you know, it's kind of like some of the other vets. Like you hand the ball off to him and he goes. Like he just needs to know where to go.
Yeah, and it's not like running behind a zone scheme is rocket surgery, right? You're looking for the first guy that hooks his defender, and then that's the guy you're cutting the back up behind, ideally. And that's something K9 could do for days. I mean, he's built for this kind of system. And honestly, this offense, if Sam Darnold is going to look good throughout the entire season, he needs K9 to be the type of back that we all believe that he can be for the majority of a season. And it's going to be electric. I can't wait to see him, get in behind Zabel, and, even with Jones out there at left tackle, but just kind of see him run in that direction and see what that looks like. Cause I think that's going to be really a bread and butter side of the ball for the Seahawks.
So Bleed Blue and Green is saying O-line pancakes. And Adam, after we got to see a little bit of Gray Zabel in preseason week 1, I am fired up to see if he can build off of that in preseason week 2.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's what it becomes, right? Nice showing as a rookie, or in his very first game, even if the first couple snaps were a little rough, settled in, looked the part. Now, can you stack that? And that's what we're looking for. I think he can. I have a proposal, though. So when you take one dude to the ground as an offensive lineman, you lay him out, we call it a pancake.
Yeah.
We saw Zabel last week actually push his dude into another dude and knock both the dudes down. And if it's more than one, I think we should call them waffles.
Oh, not a double stack.
Not a double stack. No, we're going to waffles because it's just so far superior. It's such a big deal above pancakes.
Triple stack, that might be unattainable. I don't know what you would call that.
Walter Jones. Steve Hutchinson? Is that what you would call it? Yeah, one of those.
We can workshop that one.
Yeah.
I think just with the defense, though, I think that Zabel's going to have an opportunity to go against some bigger talent. You got Chris Jones. He is more on the left side of the defense, but you got their second-round pick, Omar Norman Lott, who should see a significant amount of playing time. Mike Pennell is their starting defensive tackle, but whether it stunts, you can see some of those outside guys coming. Maybe some blitzing linebackers with Nick Bolton and Drew Tranquil coming up the middle there. So I think that this presents a little bit better of an opportunity for Gray.
Yeah, it's a nice test for the offense as a whole, not just for Gray. And when you think about it, it comes from Spags himself. Like, his scheme is really good. And you've seen the Chiefs be able to interchange parts within that defense over the last few years and still be really effective. And yeah, it's going to be a nice test going forward for him. And then also, I mean, we're talking about starters that we're looking forward to seeing. I don't know if I'm looking forward to it, but I need to see some more Anthony Bradford and to see just the consistency out of him, because, I mean, that's been the name of the game with him to this point, right?
With Bradford, I want to just see somebody win that job as opposed to just being maybe the guy that you settle for. And that was always what it was going to be when John didn't go and do squat in free agency at the guard position. I mean, in some ways, but in others you want to see, okay, how about this? If Jalen Sundell, we saw a pretty decent game from him at center, right? Yeah. If it works out to where Olu's going to be the starting center, and then if Sundell were to work his way up to be, I guess if he were the starting right guard week 1, I would think that he did something then to win that more so than, Bradford just feels like the default guy to me.
Does it feel like it's just Christian Haynes losing? Is that what it is?
Mostly because I wanted Christian Haynes to come out and win it. And I'm not getting any sort of sense that is close to happening.
No, from what you hear from practice, Bradford's the one who's taken the majority of the first team reps and has been out there. So maybe he has gone out and won it, or, maybe it is as you feel, kind of more by default. I'm sorry. I wouldn't feel 1,000% better if like Sundell was the right guard. Like, that doesn't give me the warm fuzzies in terms of like, oh, we've solved it, this is going to be fine. Like Zabel kind of did right after the draft and then showed us a little bit in week 1. So I guess I'm just hoping that we see Bradford out there and he looks good, and you can think to yourself, hey, maybe he did actually take this by the horns, rather than just be like, well, you're the least fiery of the dumpster fires.
Well, this would be the game to do it, though, because you got George Karlaftis on the left side. You've got Chris Jones. If you're managing, if he and Abe go out there and really keep that side of the line solid when Sam's dropping back to pass, then I probably would feel more comfortable, especially if we get to see it for more than just one series.
Yeah, for sure. And I think he'll play a little bit more than that. I think they're showing that they're going to allow these guys to get some run in terms of that right guard competition. And you heard Mike in his preseason or his presser just the other day say, oh yeah, it's still ongoing. We got to see it one more game before we even become settled at that position. Shane Turner. Hey, good to see you again, buddy. Thank you. And the $2.99 Australian super chat. Really do appreciate that as much as apparently you appreciate us. So thank you, man.
He gets the first one in executive producer credit.
There it is.
All right. We've spent so much time focusing on the offense, and I think there are other offensive matchups that I'm interested in. I know Clinton is watching along with us, and he was saying oots, 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 which Robbie Oots, fullback, we want to see more because we got to see some, and with it just being a taste, bleed blue and green, oots indeed. Fullback for sure. But how about on defense? Let's go over to the defense.
Well, just to touch on Oots for a quick second. Is there anybody in Seattle sports history that has seen their Q rating shoot through the roof as fast as Robbie Oots?
maybe Bobo after.
Maybe Bobo. Okay. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah.
We love these types of guys that they'll go out and work real hard, and it's fun. Shane Turner Acoustic saying also give a shout out to Clinton for Lonnie and Oots, hilarious. Adam did not appreciate that as much, being not much of a Hall & Oates fan.
Oh, is that what that was supposed to be? Okay. Well, there you go. See, it was just completely lost on me. It's not that I didn't appreciate it. It's that I just didn't know, because I'm dumb. So that's what that is. But speaking of people who aren't dumb, those are our dudes that play defense, man. And they have really taken to Mike McDonald's scheme this offseason and taken it another level up from where they finished. That's how it feels anyways, coming out of training camp with all the starters and just what you're hearing from different performances. I'd say that probably number one for me defensively is Byron Murphy. He talked so much in the offseason about how he sat and worked on his pass rushing. And he's like, yeah, I mean, I worked on the run stuff, but like, I really do that pretty well. So like, I want to go eat some quarterbacks. And it sounds like Mike wants to try to keep him more in the 3 technique situation rather than getting him head up over the center and playing straight up nose. We'll see if that comes to fruition here in preseason week 2, but I'd love to see Byron Murphy start getting after the quarterback.
He was my number one on defense for sure. And in a game like this where you've got Creed Humphrey on the offensive line, you've got Trey Smith, it gives him a good opportunity that if we see him in that general area and going up against Patrick Mahomes, like, will we see him flush Mahomes out of the pocket, or will we see him, throw a guy to the side and take Mahomes down inside the pocket in one of these first early drives? If that happens, I'm going to be very happy.
Yeah, and to Clinton's point here in the comments, yeah, he cut his dread, so he's more aerodynamic, and he's going to be way faster.
When you saw Earl Thomas do that, you saw his game step up to another level. So
it's true.
I'm sure they're just learning from the vets.
So Mike seemed to really appreciate the new clean cut look. Said he even saluted him, and was a big fan of Byron's new hairdo.
Well, Adam Dirty was a fan overall of the entire defense's play on Tuesday, because it sounded like they really took over this Tuesday practice. Which you can always be of two minds of this. Did the defense perform really, really well, or did the offense underperform today? And if I'm to take away from what the coaches made it sound like, it's just that a lot of these guys on defense are really learning how to work together a lot more, and that it was more because the coaches aren't going to come out and say the negative of it, right?
Probably not, unless you're like Jerry Jones and you just love throwing your dudes under the bus. But
sure.
I think two things could be true at the same time. Defense balled out. Maybe the offense didn't have its best day out there. I think that could have happened there. But one thing you heard Mike talk about in his presser was he's like, yeah, now's the time we kind of start to sauce it up a little bit and like start adding in the flavor. And so they may be seeing looks out of that defense that they had no idea that was coming in any way, shape, or form. And, Mike even alluded to it. He's like, yeah, we even throw more stuff than we would at a team on Sunday, just to, give them different looks and make sure that they stay within the rules and execute well.
There you go. See, it was just them. It was the offensive line nicely allowing the defensive line a day to shine. So good for them.
Right. Yeah. That's what happened. Mm-hmm.
I think probably Byron Murphy would be my number one. I would go, though, to this specific game matchup. It would be Devin Witherspoon and Reek Woolen, because with Patrick Mahomes, with the wide receiving crew that the Chiefs have, they've got Xavier Worthy, they've got Hollywood Brown, and they've got Rashee Rice in the slot. So how they're going to play those three guys as a defense, one, are you going to see more outside Witherspoon, outside Reek, and then who takes over in the slot? I'm a little curious to see how that might work. And just the matchups overall with the quarterback on the other side of the field.
Hey, if it were me, I'd just throw Reek on Worthy on the outside because he's the speedster, right? And Reek's got all the speed and length in the world. And, I mean, we'll see if it changes for Worthy this year, but he runs 9 routes and then he runs nine routes and then he runs 9 routes. Like that's all he does. And then
he was a rookie last year, though.
I know.
They may look to develop him a little bit more this season.
Yeah. So look, I'd put him out there with Worthy, and then I'd take Spoon and I put him on Rashee Rice because I think he's their most complete receiver by far. And I think Spoon is our most complete DB by far. And then you could literally put anybody out on who?
Hollywood Brown?
Who?
Future Hall of Fame.
He hasn't been good in 3 years. Like
I don't know. He hasn't really lived up to the billing of the Hollywood name.
I can see Clinton down like just off screen. None of y'all can. And when I was making fun of Hollywood Brown, his face was like, "Oh, don't you dare!" He's like, "That's a bad thing."
Don't you dare say anything bad about one of my favorite mediocre receivers.
Yeah. So like, I think you could throw Job out there. Obviously, Shaq. It doesn't sound like they're ready to throw him out there yet. Although I think he's going to be the opposite starting outside corner of Reek when it's all said and done. But maybe he gives Jeremiah Pritchett some run out there. See if he can stack that performance that he had last week.
We've got Gambling Goat showing up late to the party, asking questions. Just joining, so sorry if it's been asked, but has either coach said if they're playing starters or not? I don't think we're going to get that press conference necessarily until Wednesday or Thursday, but we're going through this under the assumption that starters are going to play. Even Mahomes got out there for 48 seconds of a series last week because the Cardinals fumbled their kickoff and the Chiefs started with the ball in the red zone. And their corner, their star corner that they drafted early committed a penalty in the end zone, and that gave Mahomes an opportunity to throw a touchdown pass. So that was all the action that we got to see from Mahomes last week against the Cardinals. But I have a feeling Andy Reid generally plays some of his starters. I mean, shoot, if he's playing them week 1, I think we're going to see some in week 2.
I would be surprised if we didn't. Especially if you saw even a little Mahomes last week. I didn't watch any Chiefs preseason football. I don't know. Call me lazy. I don't know. Whatever you want. But
you didn't watch any Cardinals preseason football?
No. Because I have a life. And that precludes me from watching the Arizona Cardinals, which is good for my deal. But I would imagine we're going to see some starters out there. And then I think a starter that we're going to be looking at heavily in this game is either Patty O or Drake Thomas filling in for Tyrese as he's obviously injured, and seeing which one of those guys can rise up and, as you put it earlier, Brandon, like win that position.
If I had to guess, I think we're going to see Patrick O'Connell out there. And I have to make a correction because when you and Clinton recorded the other day, you referred to him as a former Flathead Brave. We have 2 high schools now here, Mr. Emmert, and he actually played for the...
Was Glacier around when he was there?
It's like 4 years ago. Glacier's been around for like almost 20 years.
No, it hasn't been that long. It feels like it's like 5 years old.
Yes.
Oh, wow. Okay. I thought for sure he was a Brave. I didn't realize he went to that other fancy pants school for all the Richie Riches.
No.
Okay.
He is a member of the Glacier Wolfpack. So.
Oh, well, I've decided he's not. He's a Flathead Brave alumni. So I've claimed him now.
He's a Kalispell kid. It doesn't matter where he went to high school.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. On the defensive side of the ball, staying there. Anything else? I talked about Spoon a little bit, talked about Murphy. Those were the 2 guys that I had defensively. Patrick O'Connell for sure at the linebacker spot. I know I saw someone saying Leo up front. I don't need to see a ton of Leo, but
I would almost prefer to not see Leo, to be honest. Like, just do your thing, big cat. You can sit on the bench. You don't need any time. You're just like Jonathan Hankins in terms of the way Mike talked about Hank coming back is like, I mean, let's be real. Like, he doesn't really need any of this. Like, he can just get healthy, and then we'll put him out there, and he'll play good.
Derek Hall would be a guy that I'm kind of excited to see out there. And then Jared Ivey. Can he stack performances? Because I think we saw some pretty nice a pretty decent performance from him in preseason week 1. So can he stack that second performance? And he's the type of guy who, a lot of people were expecting him to get drafted. I think he went undrafted because a lot of his athletic measurable type scores, not real high.
Low sack score.
Low sack score.
Okay.
But that type of guy with a guy who has a lot of strength, I don't necessarily think you need a whole lot of agility either to be effective, especially at what you need from that position.
For real. And look, not everybody has to be Warren Sapp or Aaron Donald and have like ballerina feet and be 350 pounds. Yeah, you can, there's a lot of guys that play very effectively throughout their career in the NFL being more of a strength player, and especially in the trenches. It's not like he's got to have 4.4 speed or anything like that.
Bleed blue and green saying number 3 E-man. And that would be one of my questions about who you see outside versus inside. I'll go back to Devin Witherspoon because I'm kind of curious of what you think too. If Eamon is the third best safety to be on the field and he can play in that slot type of role because he has the speed, I would want to see some of that change of direction quickness. I think he has it, but I just want to see more of it. I think having Spoon and Reek as your outside corners, there's nothing wrong with me for Spoon playing majority of the snaps on the outside at the corner spot.
No, as long as you have a quality nickel player, because I really do believe that for a lot of teams, their number one oftentimes is the slot player. I mean, we saw Cooper Kupp win the Triple Crown playing primarily out of the slot. So you better have somebody who's damn good. And we'll see if Eamon is that kind of cover guy when he gets up against those jitterbug guys, you know, considering his body type and everything. And it was interesting to hear Mike talk about his progression and him being like, look, we've got him in, you know, the third level right now, and we're really kind of training on that. And then we'll transition down to the second level, and that's when things get a little crazier. But not as crazy as a Montana gravel pit where there's usually somebody shooting off some guns and stuff because we are weird.
Dogzilla Monster in the chat saying, have gone through Montana a few times. Gorgeous, but the locals are weird. We are evidence of that. A couple of weird dudes.
Yeah. They let us be in the same class together, believe it or not.
Yeah, more than
years.
Once.
Yeah.
It's wild. Shane Turner Acoustic saying, I asked another podcaster this. What are you doing watching other? Are we not enough for you, Shane? That's fine. Do you think they played Abe so much in game one?
Had you put a ring on it with Shane yet? Or like, I mean, are you guys still seeing other Potters?
I mean, I just gave him an executive producer credit. I feel like that's practically putting a ring on it.
All right. Well, I mean, a practical proposal is not an engagement either. So I'm just saying.
Let me get to Shane's question.
Okay.
Do you think they played Abe so much in game one to assess him for a possible extension? Curious what you guys think. Oh, that is curious.
I hadn't thought about it through that lens.
No, I think it was probably... I don't think you could keep Abe off the field if he was ready to go and it's preseason. Like he probably lobbied for snaps to be out there for at least 20 snaps.
Yeah, I imagine he would have. But with that said, when we're thinking about Abe's contract in the tackles as a whole, Cross and Abe, because they're both basically eligible to be re-upped at this point, you're looking at that sort of thing. I would be surprised if they didn't re-up Cross first, just because of the health and consistency. Like, Cross has been pretty good, and he's
under
been
the
on the
fifth-year
field.
option, though.
Well, that's fine, but it doesn't mean that he's going to want to play on the fifth-year option. Like, you can pick up the fifth-year option, and he comes to camp the following year and says, I ain't playing for that. I'm a top 15 tackle. Like, then you end up having to redo the contract. I think with Abe, I think they really want to see it for an extended season. So I'd be surprised if they were looking to re-up Abe right now. I think they want to see that knee hold up for an entire grind.
Yeah, I think if they were going to do it, and they wanted to do it, and Abe wanted to do it, I think that they'd probably have seen enough, even through preseason practices, that they would just go ahead and make that happen. I don't think 20 snaps in the preseason is going to be the thing that would push the contract extension over the line.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. Because, wait, I guess I am not thinking about Is this Abe and this is going into year 4, right? For both
This
Abe
is
and
year
Cross.
4 for Abe and Cross.
Yeah, okay.
But Cross
There's no
has
fifth year
that.
for-
There is no 5th year for Abe, and so this is his prove it year. And ideally, if he goes out and he plays really well, which is probably what his goal is, go out there and show that he's going to be one of the top right tackles in the NFL. Then he gets to the end of the season and he says, pay me or franchise tag me. Then I think that would be his best outcome.
True. I wonder, I've seen John over the years take players and have them play out maybe, a little over half of a season and then re-up them in season. We've seen that happen. I wouldn't think that that's out of the question for Abe. I think the sooner that they get it done with either of these two guys, the better it is for the team, just because of the way that contracts go. We don't want to be the Dallas Cowboys. I think that's pretty obvious.
We've got Bunny in the chat saying, I'd like to see how Horton does. Can he stack another solid performance? Same with literally every rook who looked good last match. Oots, Zabel, Arroyo, Milrow, Ivy, etc. I am also, it's not just Horton for me, Adam. I want to see when the team lines up with 3 wide receivers, where Horton is on the field, where JSN is on the field, and then where Cooper Kupp is on the field. If those 3 guys are on the field altogether early on in the game, because that's going to tell us a little bit about what they're thinking, where each one of these guys could contribute.
Yeah, I mean, that's assuming that Torrey Horton has beat out MVS for that 3rd wide receiver spot, or they were looking at him for that 3rd wide receiver spot. I mean, my humble opinion, I think he's making a pretty strong push for it. But if you're talking about where you're going to play those guys, my guess would be is you'd have Horton as your X, you'd have JSN as your Y, and you'd put Kupp in the slot. I think that's the way that you would go with that. That just my guess.
I think that would probably provide the best matchup, right? Because if you're having to, and it could be matchup dependent too on who's on the other side of the field week to week of who you put in the slot if it's Kupp versus JSN, trying to create a matchup and a mismatch. That makes obvious. I don't think you would see Horton in the slot.
I think you could play there, but
sure.
Yeah, I don't think that's primarily where you'd get the most production for him with his size and skill set. He's a bigger dude.
Dogzilla Monster saying Horton caught only 3 of 7 targets. Why are we overhyping him?
Well, are you going to blame him for the pick? Like, that was one of those targets that was woefully underthrown and super late. Like, what's Torrey supposed to do? Get in his DeLorean and like come back and tell Drew Lock to throw it earlier with a little more sauce? I don't know.
Throw it a little deeper. Yeah.
Yeah. I just thought he did a nice job of making catches in contested areas and showing his physicality that way, and just his smoothness in and out of breaks, and just somebody that looks like he could be a reliable option week in, week out.
Caught a touchdown pass. He didn't have any drops, so it's not like he got thrown at and he just, missed
defense
the catch
gets
that he should have made.
paid too, right? Yeah.
Yeah. William Tarkowski.
Yeah, what
William? I haven't seen you in chat yet. How's Milrow? How about Milrow?
How about that, Milrow? Look, one of the things that I find interesting coming out of preseason week 1 is that almost all of the rookie quarterbacks or the really young quarterbacks all looked pretty good. And so that tells you a couple things. Either one, they're all pretty good, or 2, that it's so vanilla that, guys, when they get out there, they should be able to look good in that setting. Preseason week 2, it ramps up a little bit. I think this is a fantastic opportunity for Milrow, because I don't think he's gotten quite the shine that some of the other rookies did here in preseason week 1. I think a lot of people are like, yeah, he ran a couple times, it was awesome, and then completely gloss over the fact that for the most part, he was on target with his throws and looked pretty darn good. I thought he looked sharp.
And word is out of practice that he's looked sharp there as well. So getting to see a little bit more Milrow. I guess for me, we're probably going to see more of him in that 3rd preseason game to where we get a little bit more excited.
Yeah.
Just because the way they structure a lot of these, he may not get as much time this week.
True. And look, I specifically kind of left the rookies out of guys starters I was looking forward to watching this week because they have gotten so much pub and so much hype and so much love from this last week, which they earned, and I think is awesome. I thought maybe we could talk about a few of the other guys, but, obviously it's on the forefront of us 12's mind. I mean, just look at the chat, like people bringing up, Arroyo and Milrow and Oots, and people want to talk about it because it's exciting to see this fresh blood come into the team and look like they can be real contributors.
Gambling Goat saying, I hope Mike lets Milrow start over Locke with
Agreed.
the ones, quote unquote, at least once this preseason. It would be nice to see. I am not necessarily counting on it.
Really?
I don't know. Mike just seems like one of those guys, you have to earn it type guys, and not just to see it for fun type guys.
I get it, but my thought process would be this: is you're looking to cut down to the 52. Are you going to keep 3 quarterbacks, or are you going to just keep 2 quarterbacks? And because that's something that could become a factor if Milrow has looked so sharp in practice and he looks good in week 1, looks good in week 2, looked great in week 3. I mean, is Drew Lock then expendable? Do you just make Milrow your number 2? And then if that's the case, wouldn't you want to see him out there with the ones for at least a couple series to see if, hey, yeah, I'm comfortable with him being the primary backup to Sam Darnold? We'll see.
We will see. The Snail saying, with Stafford out, do the Seahawks have the 3 best quarterbacks in the division? What's your take on this Stafford stuff? Because it's getting to the point to where his injury stuff seems so overhyped that I feel like the Rams are doing it just to make it a story, and then week 1 he's going to show up and he'll be fine. It's like, oh, he had to get a shot that only women in labor usually get with the epidurals for his back pain, and then now it's, he has his own trailer that he has to rehab in because he's in so much pain with his back. It's starting to feel a little bit too protesty for me.
Yeah, it sounds like some, I don't know, LA bullshit as they roll out yet another lie. Look, I'll believe it when I don't see it on week 1, Matt running out there and taking snap number 1. That's when I'll actually believe that he's really injured. I'm not saying that he maybe doesn't have some pain and all that and everything, but just as you put it, Brandon, kind of the overhype and the hand wringing. And then they didn't even put in Jimmy last week either to get a few snaps, to kind of be like, ooh, we got to keep Jimmy healthy too, because, Matt doesn't look so good. It all feels like a little bit of gamesmanship from frickin' Hair Gel McVay. I don't know. I hate them so much that you give me about any suggestion when it comes to Matt Stafford's back about it being BS, and I'd believe it because screw those guys.
I am not buying it at all. We've got Maximus Reldus in the chat saying, I'm so excited, way more excited than last year, like 400%. Ooh, 4 times more of the excitement, Adam.
Yeah. Oh, look, it's tough to get the hype meter turned down for me this time of year because you wait so long, you pour over these draft picks and the free agent signings and new schemes and coaches and all that. Man, 4,000%, it feels right on the nose.
Dogzilla Monster in chat saying, what's with the Green Bay scrimmage, and will any of it be televised? Man, I wish they would do that, but no, they're not going to give us any of that. One, the coaches, I don't even think that they want televised. Shoot, with Pete, we got just a little bit of scrimmage televised with our Seahawks training camps. Now Coach Mike comes in and it's like, oh, you can't even bring out your phone to take a picture. They don't want you knowing anything. And so with these scrimmages, especially with other teams where they're probably going to be trying to do more live game type stuff than you would see on televised games, yeah, there's zero chance.
Yeah, I would be very surprised if we ever got a glimpse into those joint practices. Now, I did hear Tom Pelissero, I'm pretty sure it was him, talking about, somebody asked him the question, hey, is it more important, these joint practices or the preseason games? Do they get more out of those or the preseason games? And he seemed to think that it was the joint practices because you can get in more reps and it's more controlled and yada, yada, yada. And if that's the case, I'm like, well, then don't don't televise the preseason games and make that all secret. That's fine. Then let me watch the joint practices then. But they're not going to do anything because I tell them to, much like Maximus here. And I appreciate that. To be clear, I think it was more of an ask than an order, but either way, I'm happy about it.
We did not tell anybody to.
No,
but
I'm not the boss of you.
It was highly suggested. We can't kick you out of chat yet.
I mean, we could, but why would we? Like,
I haven't figured out how to do it yet.
Oh, okay. I don't even know if we're that petty.
Is Geno Smith that petty? After we saw him flip double birds to one of our Seahawks fans who just brought, I don't know, what you would call a fun-loving sign to the game.
Yeah, fun-loving dickhead, however you want to put it. That was a jerk move. Like, if you bring a spring.
Oh, we got.
And you know you're going to be standing right there at the tunnel.
Yeah.
Then at that point.
Does it change your mind at all to hear that it sounds like this is something that this specific guy does every game? That makes up a sign to razz the other team.
Yeah, that's a little like reverse jinxie, like our own DCH, right? Like that's his lane. That's where he lives. And if, mean sign dude, if that's where he lives and that's his lane, then great. I also wonder too, like if this fan and Geno had like some beef throughout like the last 3 years as well, like if there was little something there, because let's not get it twisted. There is a significant chunk of this fan base that thinks Geno Smith was the problem and 2 stinks. And like, we're real mean to him. So I could understand how he would have some feelings about some of those people. And now that he's outside the building, can maybe express some of that.
Mike W. saying probably not the first time he's got the double birds aimed at him then. No.
He was laughing. He didn't even look like he was mad, like, which is great because that's how I would have taken it too. But, like,
this is hilarious. What my hope
Max
is.
Crosby thought it was hilarious too.
Yeah. Well, Max joined him in the double bird salute, which, words on a sign, just words, fingers thrown up in the air, just fingers. There was nothing. I like to think personally, without knowing how Geno specifically felt about it, because I haven't even heard anybody ask him directly about it. I hope it was playful, because I feel like it could be playful on both sides with this one, because that sign saying, like, comparing him to Jamarcus Russell is so ridiculous. It comes across as a very sarcastic type of sign, which
does it?
Maybe not sarcastic, but it comes across in a way like you wouldn't possibly think that, which makes the sign awesome.
There's some people that do though, like for real. When you hear people talk about Geno,
I don't think that anybody could make that leap that Geno is Jamarcus level bust.
Oh God, not even close. Like he didn't drink himself out of the league with Tussin. Okay,
right?
Like I think that's a step up from Jamarcus just right there.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's why I think the sign was just so ridiculous. It made it entertaining, and it was
probably 3/4 playful, a quarter like actual FU, and I think that's the right word back.
He got what he wanted as a fan, and Geno, I don't with him, and because Pete was over there too. I saw a photo of Pete like. Jumping up, like trying to grab the sign, and the guy had kind of his hand extended to shake Pete's hand.
That's a very Pete move.
So
I think they all had fun with it, honestly. I think both Pete and Geno enjoyed their return to Seattle for the most part. And
it's
I think
just the way that it was covered nationally. I don't think that they looked at it like it could have been playful at all.
And even if it wasn't, who cares?
Right.
Like whoop-de-doo-dah-day.
It's a sign. It's some fingers. It's not real serious.
Well, I will tell you, Shane, with this comment here, if they're going to play in Australia next year, are we coming? And if I have to build an effing raft and paddle like the whole way over there, I'm going to make it happen, man. I know the Pacific is big, but it can't be that big. I mean, I've never done it, but it can't be that hard. So, I'm going to make it no matter what.
Start now building your ark, because if you have any more storms up there in the Gulch, you can test it out.
You have my biblical name confused with a different one. I'm Adam, not Noah. I don't know shit about building arcs, so we might have to fly. Yeah.
All right. Well, That'll be fun. We'll look forward to that. We are looking forward to this matchup with the Chiefs on Friday. And a big thanks once again to our executive producer for the show, Shane Turner Acoustic. Thanks,
That's right.
And
That's
hey,
right. Ryan's been bumped the last couple shows, man. He better get after it.
You know, I think he's on vacation. It sounded like he felt real bad that he was missing all these shows, but he should enjoy his vacation. I'm going to go on vacation. We've got Michael Knight. He took a vacation from most of the show today. At least I didn't see his comment up on the screen until now saying, hello, guys, in the house, another great show. Appreciate it, Michael Knight. And
yeah, for sure.
Yes.
I don't know. Why do you keep saying Chiefs wrong, Brandon?
I don't know. I guess I'm using their, what do you call that? Their government name.
Yeah, I don't know. I enjoy Saban's better, though. And, and since he's, Saban Scent Studio, I bet you he's qualified to talk about the Queefs. So, yeah.
Is the ark made out of cottonwood? Where do you come out on that? Would you destroy the cottonwoods to build yourself a boat, or do you hate cottonwoods so much there is zero chance that you would use that to float on and count on that with your life that it would stay afloat?
Yeah, I wouldn't trust the cottonwood as far as I could throw it. Screw those trees and their stupid puffy dander that comes down and makes me miserable. And on top of that, they're soft. Why would I want to float on a soft boat? That sounds like disaster. No, just burn them. That's all they're good for. And you can't even use them for like firewood in your house. You just burn them outside and then they're gone and everybody's happy and the world's a better place. That's it.
That's it. Getintheflock.com. Yes, let's start fundraising early.
Yeah.
Send in your messages if you are getting in the flock, and we'll read them coming up on the next show. It will be our season expectations show. It's an annual tradition, Adam, and I just have a feeling that if people are going to get in the flock, they're going to want to be a part of that and want to say whatever it is that they feel like saying as part of that season expectations show.
For sure. Yeah, we'd love to get your guys' input on that before we put that out. And look, I want to remind everybody too, we're going to be coming at you guys live after preseason week 2, and we're going to have all of our live reactions to that. So
even late at night.
Okay, we don't have to. If you don't want to do it, I'm fine.
I'm going to be on vacation in Yellowstone. It's not going to be me, buddy.
Oh, that's right. And Clinton said he was going to be kind of semi-busy. Oh, then it would be just me. That's awful. Nobody needs that in their life. Never mind. Scratch that. We're not doing that.
The next morning after the game will be the post-game reaction with Adam and with Clinton.
Oh, Clinton said that he's in. Yeah, he's going to do 1:30 pod.
This is a moving target, people. Stay tuned. Getintheflock.com, and you will get notified.
Or you won't.
Or if not, or maybe you won't.
Yeah. I mean, odds are, because, I mean, you just got a glimpse into our production meetings, and they're, about that much of a plan. So
we had a couple production meetings just within the show. We decided we're going to Australia. We decided that you're building an ark. And we have not made a decision on whether we're doing a post-game show immediately after the game.
All right. Well, very good. Well, I think with that, then.
There's only one thing left to say.
Go Hawks.
Go Hawks.
Better start learning how to build a boat.